In our first conversation, I talked about the possibility of false complaints. I want to make it very clear. Men can make false complaints against women, and women can make false complaints against men. It's an issue of human beings. It's not necessarily an issue of gender. We need to look and check facts, check evidence, check integrity in every situation. We need to get beyond the false assumption that men are somehow fundamentally depraved and women are fundamentally innocent. Neither of those are true. Both the masculine and the feminine, men and women, are both starting points for development, for evolution, right, for growth. Both men and women have light and have what we call in psychology shadow, untransformed wound, negativity, flaws. And so we need to recognize there's masculine shadow and there's feminine shadow. And it's only then we can begin to have a conversation that revolves around justice. The entire point of the American way, what we fought war after war for, right? Millions of Americans, millions of human beings all across the world died for the sake of the core principles of justice, which are based on fair process, presumption of innocence. Blackstone, the great English juror, said, better 10 guilty men go free than one guilty man be hung. Jefferson said, better 100 guilty men go free than one guilty man be hung. And we're not just talking about judicial process, right? The actual moment in which we separate out hysteria and public hysteria from the fair process of checking information, right, is what defines democracy. How we gather information is who we are. And that's absolutely critical. Now let's understand, for many, many, many years, women's complaints weren't taken seriously. And that was a tragedy. There weren't even any laws against sexual harassment, which was an absolute travesty. We've corrected that. We've evolved love and evolved consciousness. Today, sexual harassment is a violation of the law. That's awesome. That's beautiful. We've protected, in this case, primarily the feminine, as we should have. But now the pendulum has swung in the other direction. Just like when men had power, power for some men corrupted, and men used their power to violate boundaries and sexually harass, now that women are so often virtually automatically believed when they make complaints, the feminine, women have a new form of power. And just like power corrupted some men, power naturally corrupts some women. And so there are some women who make false complaints. False complaints are devastating. False complaints are a form of what the early feminists referred to as name rape. It's very powerful. The early feminists pointed out that rape is not only a horrific physical act, but it's actually a violation of integrity that you can rape a person's name. False complaints are a form of name rape, and particularly false complaints about a sexual event are an abuse of the sexual, right? To talk falsely about a sexual event and to tell the story in objective violation of what happened. Not just that two people had different experiences, but to tell it fundamentally in violation of the facts that happen, right, is an abuse of sexuality. And we need to stand against that form of abuse in every possible way in order to stand for justice for all. It's a critical issue, right, for the American way.